What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. And today we're going to cover the 10 most gruesome deaths of all time. Before we get on the video, if you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe, and let's get straight on the video with number 10, Rorschach. Alan Moore's Watchmen is one of the most beloved superhero stories to ever be told, and part of this can be attributed to his use of some of the best executed deaths to appear in comics. The death that makes it onto the list is Rorschach's when he meets his end from his once ally Dr. Manhattan. After uncovering a secret plan to unite the US and Soviet Union, orchestrated by another former teammate, Rorschach feels compelled to bring the plan to the public. Unfortunately, Dr. Manhattan disagrees quite a bit. The two confront each other, and after accepting his fate, Rorschach is instantly terminated by the mind of the much more powerful Dr. Manhattan, leaving only a spot of blood where he once stood. This wasn't a violent struggle of a fight, but watching one of the main characters in the movie get simply evaporated was definitely one of the most intense scenes in comic books. Number 9, Bart Allen. For all the talk the rogues get for not being overly serious villains, this was a pretty sinister thing to do. Bart Allen, one of the lesser remembered incarnations of the Flash and ex-Teen Titan member, met his unconventional end at the hands of the most notorious rival group. After inertia left Bart without his powers, the rogue members felt threatened that he would soon get them back, so they did whatever they could to take him down for good. This didn't consist of what people would typically assume is needed to kill a superhero like guns or lasers, but rather the group standing around our hero took turns kicking him over and over and over. This must not have only been incredibly painful due to blunt trauma, but also almost embarrassing to have such extraordinary powers, but to be killed in a bland way. Number 8, the Wasp. Okay, so even though this took place in the Ultimatum, which is widely hated, and even though the Wasp was technically already dead when the gross part happened, it doesn't take away from the fact that this was extremely vile. After dying from drowning, her lifeless body is picked up by the Blob, who does the unthinkable. Grasping the body like a piece of meat, the villain begins to chew on the Wasp's corpse. The artwork of this death is so virtually unpleasing that you can see the bones, blood, and more spew from the broken body, and the Blob continuously stuffs his face with more and more. Later, he even remarks that she tastes like a chicken. Karma is done to him, however, when Hank Pym, as the giant man, chops the villain's head right off for revenge and punishment for what he did to his partner. Number 7, the Punisher. Marvel's 2008-2009 series called Dark Reign focused on a time when Norman Osborn had a considerable growth in his power over the Marvel Universe. This allowed him to send underlines to kill those he considered unfavorable, with his list of targets including Frank Castle. After several attempts at his life, Osborn finds success Daken, Wolverine's son, after the Punisher. The two have a pretty back and forth fight on a rooftop where both take serious injuries, but Castle just couldn't stand up to Daken's power. The battle ultimately results in the death of the Punisher after he is completely mutilated by his enemy, with his arm being chopped off and the rest of his body getting sliced by claws. Number 6, Ryan Choi. Ryan Choi was the fourth Atom in The Brightest Day and is unfortunately murdered by Deathstroke and his newly founded team of Titans. Afterwards, his body is actually mailed to Dwarf Star, who is revealed to be the one who hired the Titans in the first place. His death was by Deathstroke's sword being pummeled through his body, which we see the bloody results of. This death caused a lot of controversy because Ryan Choi was one of the only Asian American heroes who was killed off in less than an honorable way. Fans and readers complained that his death was merely written to show how strong and badass Deathstroke was, something that every fan already knew. However, as with many comics and characters, they are brought back to life in one way or another or rewritten back into the universe. Although Ryan Choi's death isn't the worst on the list, it sure was very messy both on and off the comic book pages. Number 5, Ares. Norman Osborn is back at it again, continuing his onslaught of the Marvel Universe's heroes. In a 2010 miniseries, Osborn's government-sanctioned Hammer team was taking steps towards global domination, which of course encompassed taking out those who oppose him. One of his allies that helped to try and achieve this was Sentry, and easily manipulated the strong superhuman to take Asgard. During the siege, the Olympian hero, Ares, tries to defend the Norse world from the invaders, but obviously didn't quite meet his goal. After a bit of fighting between Sentry and Ares, the unthinkable was performed. To everyone's surprise, Sentry grabbed his opponent and ripped him open from the middle, leaving him in two halves with his inside body parts everywhere. For being such a mainstream comic and part of the Marvel comic universe, it was simply incredible for readers to witness such a violent act. Number 4, the Hulk. The Old Man Logan story arc is definitely one of the more gory ones, as it begins with Hulk's grandchildren brutally murdering Wolverine's entire family. Because of this, the anti-hero with claws completely snaps and only seeks out vengeance. Methodically, he finds all of Hulk's relatives and begins to kill each and every one of them, making sure that their deaths are as painful as possible. Finally, he's able to kill all of them but one, Hulk himself. The two have an intense and violent battle, but then Hulk does what readers least expect. He swallows Wolverine whole. Thinking he's victorious, Hulk is seemingly satisfied with his victory, except for the fact that Logan has regenerative, healing powers. While inside his stomach, Wolverine heals and rips the giant monster from the inside. Seeing it on page definitely makes for one of the more gross and memorable deaths. Number 3, SpiderMan. It was definitely bizarre to watch one of the most kid-friendly superheroes get murdered in such a gruesome way, but I guess that's what happens when Deadpool is around. Usually, although still excessively violent, Deadpool at least leaves the heroes of his universe to live in relative peace. But in the storyline, Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, follows Wade Wilson as he hears a voice in his head convincing him to kill, well, everyone. This consists of quite a few heroes, including the Avengers. But Spider-Man's end is probably the most memorable and violent. Readers are greeted by a panel of the Merc with the mouth putting a bullet right through Spidey's skull, taking quite a large chunk with it. While this is the type of thing fans would expect from Deadpool, the kid-friendly web-slinger felt really out of place for such a violent conflict to take place, especially with him on the receiving end. Number 2, Jason Todd. Even though Jason Todd was one of the less popular altercations of Robin, he surely did not deserve such a gruesome and painful death. The fault is among the fans though, because there was a nationwide phone survey to determine the second Robin's fate. When the boy wonder was finally reunited with his biological mother after searching desperately, their lives were stripped away by the one and only Clown Prince. The Joker found the mother and son in a warehouse, where he then picked up a crowbar and began to beat Jason Todd to a pulp. The Joker would continue on for quite some time, all while Todd's mother was still nearby. And that wasn't even enough for the clown. He left the two in a warehouse with a ticking time bomb that was inevitably going to explode. Him being in so much pain in front of his mother, and also feeling the betrayal of utter disappointment in Batman's abilities, Jason Todd's death was definitely one the readers will never forget. And number 1, Stephanie Brown. Stephanie Brown was the heroine known as Spoiler, and was actually the first and only female Robin, which only lasted a few issues before she was brutally murdered. In the pages where this occurred, we see her continuously being tortured with a power drill, all while being forced into sexualizing positions. The villain who did this talked about how she couldn't keep up with the boys. Seeing this take place not only was stomach turning, but it also caused uproar amongst fans. Even though she manages to escape, she is shot and kicked down a flight of stairs to her death. Fans were in shock that the writers would do such a thing to a female character, and to add on that, the main characters in the story seem to have little to no emotional effect from her death. Because of the controversy, DC eventually rewrote it so the death was fake, but we all know what happened, and DC just wants to make fans content. And that is it for the video, guys. As always, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Valenplana, and I'll see you all later.